So, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Turn 5 podcast, where this week we'll be going over the latest news because there's actually been news. And
on a Monday.
I know. And our reviews of the feeder series.
As best as we can remember.
Well, I mean, we kind of did a bit of a review of Formula 3 when the Formula 3 season finished at Monza. So I feel like, and we kind of reviewed-ish W Series when it got announced that got cancelled.
Yeah.
So I feel like we just kind of need to do Formula 2.
Yes.
Because that finished the same weekend as Formula 1. So we'll start with the news. We don't care about Formula 3. It's not a feeder series. The news, and Williams has announced that it's parting way with team principal and technical director. So Jost Capitao and FX Demyson, don't quote me on how to say that, have been sacked following the team's slump in performance from last year to this year. They were 27 points adrift of the next lowest placed team. So kind of understandable, in fact, of the team didn't continue to progress. They very much didn't take the change of rules by the scruff of the neck and use it as a way to propel themselves further up the field. They haven't announced who is replacing them. They said that they'd announce that in due course.
Probably on a Tuesday.
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. But also, it's the winter break. It's not like they're in a mad rush to announce anything. So it could be in the new year. Which would be
Tuesday.
Which would be great, because then we'd have restarted the podcast by then. Because this is like the last one before we take our Christmas break. In case you hadn't noticed. Oh my god.
Give me a break. Christ.
So, thoughts on the sacking of Jost Capitao?
Latifi's fault.
Yeah, pretty valid. Yeah, he got outdriven by Albon all season, so...
Yeah, and Nick de Vries as well. So...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like being outdriven by Nick de Vries was just
the cherry.
Yeah, it was just like, Williams like, yeah, we're going to let him go now.
Yeah, that's shame, but it is what it is. Bit of a ruthless nature of the sport. You don't do the job, you get in the bin.
Well, with all their drivers' points together, they'd only outscored Guan Yu Zhou.
Ouch. Where did F1 post it? I feel like it was on their Facebook page. F1 photos. Here we go. Okay, so Mick Schumacher got dropped, right, by Haas. And Formula One posted the head-to-head stats between Mick and Kevin. And, well, it doesn't make for very great reading in terms of why, because it's a bit disappointing, to be honest. Okay, so Kevin outqualified Mick 16 times to 6, but in the races, Mick outraced Kevin 13 times to 8. Kevin scored more points, 25 to 12. Kevin had a one place better race finish and got really lucky with the grid in Sao Paulo, but Kevin had 5 DNFs and Mick had 2. So
the Micks were expensive. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, a crash can be as expensive as a mechanical failure.
True.
Like, we just don't get to see it. Like, when an engine goes bang inside the car, it can rip all sorts of bits and pieces to shreds. Just because it's not the external carbon fiber that goes flying everywhere doesn't mean it's not expensive. So, I don't know. It's it makes me feel like it's even more harsh than it was. Like it is what it is at the end of the day, I guess. But I feel like they made the wrong decision. So
Well, we'll find out.
Who have they said who's replacing Mick?
Hülkenberg.
Hülkenberg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then pretty much everyone's like, "Why are you getting him back? You know, he
Yeah,
done
it's-
nothing in the first place."
Yeah, there's no point getting him back.
And yet here he is.
They're accepting mediocre.
Yeah. So who knows? Oh well, that's just something that got posted between us going live last time and us going live this time. So is what is. Elsewhere in the news, nothing. It's very basic stuff. There was the prize giving ceremony that happened. That was
Yeah, that was very
Charles was
awkward.
there on his own.
I mean, they're always awkward.
When was Matteo Bonotto announced? Was that last?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
we covered that.
We did cover
Yeah.
that. Okay, yeah, yeah. There was no one else from Ferrari there, just Charles.
Oh wow, okay.
See, he was up on the stage on his own. Where like, obviously, all of Red Bull were there,
Mm.
but it was just Charles and his Ferrari, little Ferrari blazer.
Bless him.
But yeah, there was the
And he got
guy-
broke up. And he
there
broke
was
up
a
with his
guy-
girlfriend.
yeah, poor Charles. He's just
So
stood there on his
he
own.
was-
You just
he
felt
was-
bad for
He
him.
was really on his own.
Yeah, there was the
So-
guy giving out awards, and with like, he was having some strange interactions with Christian Horner. It was horrible to listen to it, because it was like just gently putting salt on like the cost cap stuff and that,
Oh, lovely.
and
lovely.
Horner just having to like take it on the chin. It was so awkward.
It's just why do people feel the need to do that? Like it's an award giving ceremony. Just give the award and be done with it.
Yeah,
Like they've done the cost cap stuff. That's in the past now. The penalty is yet to be announced, but you know it wasn't exactly by a lot of money that they went over compared to what was originally being thrown around. Like, come on, just get over it. So yeah. Then again, you can say the same thing to Mercedes fans from 2021, but still we move. Formula 3, we're going to start there because like I said, we already kind of covered it. Victor Martins won, Zane Maloney in second, and Ollie Behrman in third. It was pretty comfortable for Victor Martins in terms of he scored on every race weekend except one, and that one was in Spa. And he had a lot of podiums, a couple of wins. You know, it was reasonably comfortable. I mean, Zane Maloney, don't get me wrong, gave him a run for his money with 3 race wins in a row at the end of the season.
Yeah,
Feature race wins, that is.
Apart from 2 race weekends, Victor Martin scored at least 10 points the entire time. So it all adds up.
Yeah, exactly. It's what they always say, isn't it? Consistency is key. He was consistent.
especially in the feeder series.
Yeah. Any other notable mentions as I scroll down the list that hit 40 drivers over the course of the season? Good Lord. I mean,
Isaac Hadjar, I reckon he.
Isaac Hadjar outperforming Gregoire Saucy
Yeah, he'd be
so
one to look out
substantially.
for.
Because they were in the Freca series together the year before, and Gregoire
Yes.
Saucy ran away with that. So that was an interesting swap.
But it was also
Um,
kind of the same with what's his name? Dennis Hauger. He ran away with the Formula 2 thing, but then Formula 3 he ran away with in Formula 2. He was just wasn't
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting one. That because a lot of people thought he was gonna be one of the main contenders. You know what? Screw it. Let's just segue onto Formula 2.
Ah,
And I think it became pretty apparent that he wasn't really in with a shout of being a title contender when after the 4th race week, he'd only amassed 14 points. Which is not a lot when the lead drivers were already over 70. So is that 70? I want to say that's 70. That's 50, 60, 70, yeah, even over 80 points, like damn. So yeah, not ideal, but is what it is. Okay, so we all know Felipe Drugovich won the title ahead of quote unquote nearest rival Théo Pourchaire, who ended up 101 points behind at the end of trade. That was, yeah. Théo had a really, really bad end of the season, picking up 5 points in the last 4 race events.
yeah, I think he had like a lot of mechanical DNFs. And most of his DNFs were mechanical, if not all.
Which is a shame. Liam Lawson finished 3rd. Logan Sargent finished 4th, and with that 4th place finish, guaranteed his seat at Williams for next year. Ayumu Iwasa finished 5th, and Jack Doohan finished 6th, which is a bit of a fall off at the end of the season for him as well, really, because earlier on he was in the mix. He had a couple of race wins and he'd sort of put himself higher up in contention. But then sort of the same way as Pourchaire, he's just fallen off in the last couple of races. Rounding out the top 10, you've got Jehan Daruvala, Fittipaldi, Fred Vesti, and then, as we said earlier, Dennis Hauger in 10th. And that's exactly where I'm going to stop. I'm not reading any further down the list. And if you know who's in 11th, that's why.
Yeah, there's 29 drivers in this series compared to the 40 in Formula 3.
Well, considering there should only be, 22? It's still more.
There was Tatiana Calderon and Liam Zandelli, I think, only competed in like the last 3 or so. Well,
Zandelli made a 1-round appearance.
Zandelli, Correa, Maloney, and Giotto, 1-round appearances.
Yeah.
Tatiana Calderon, 4 rounds and still 28.
Yeah.
The rest of them after like 15th only appeared a few times.
Yeah.
Wasn't the full season.
So.
Actually, no, I lie. Marino Sata, 22nd.
Yeah, he's sort of the exception to things. Everyone sort of around that area is sort of dipping in and out, which is a shame to see because obviously that's, well, I mean, okay, for Cem Bolot-Bassi, the rounds he missed in Jeddah and Imola were injury based.
Yeah.
Which is equally a shame, but also not financially a shame. You know, it's not like he was struggling for funding. It was just the fact that he'd injured himself at the opening round. But I mean, it was a tight season until it wasn't.
Yeah, until the end.
Until Drugovich just went, you know what? I'm only in 4th gear. Let me just shift up a couple, and just drove away with it. And yeah, I mean, his lowest point scoring week was Imola, where he scored 5. Yeah. He has a 5, a 6, and a 7, and an 8. Wow, look at that. Man's going for the collection. But it's, it's all points, isn't it? those are on weekends where he didn't get podiums, but then there's weekends where he got 36 points on one of them, 33 on another. And it's like, that's big chunks, sure, but it's the bits in between that have really helped him over. Like if he hasn't won, he's been in like, he's got a third place at Baku and he's picked up 19 points total that weekend. He got 19 points at the France weekend. He got 25 points overall at Spa. You know, it's the little bits and pieces he's picked up that have helped him along. Whereas Théo Pourchaire has had, you know, blanks. He didn't score in Jeddah. He only scored 8 points in Barcelona.
There's like the odd 25, 18,
Yeah,
like every other.
but otherwise it's like 2, 8, 3,
For
2.
like,
So it's a when you look at the run of form, it's a lot less in terms of what you're picking up when you're not winning, and that's the key. I mean, Mick Schumacher won his season with not a lot of race victories, but a lot of podiums.
yeah.
So yeah, that's again, consistency is key, and that's just what it was. He's ran away with it basically. Whereas the rest of the grid fell off around him. I'll be interested to see how well Logan Sargent does in Formula One. I know he's obviously like Williams's next choice because he is the driver academy driver. But that's got to be somewhat annoying for the drivers that have finished ahead of him, you know, to think that the guy that you beat in the championship gets your dream job.
Especially Dragovic.
How long has Dragovic been in Formula 2?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
What team's MP? Since 2020.
Okay, so he's done, that's his
This is the
third
year.
season.
Yeah. 2020 got 9th, 21 he got 8th, and then obviously he's won this year.
That's a bit of an upswing.
And then Logan Sargent, he's a rookie. He was a rookie this year.
Yes.
Yes, he got 7th in Formula 3 last year, 3rd in Formula 3 in 2020, 19th in Formula 3 in 19.
Okay, so he spent 3 years in Formula 3, then got the
Yeah.
step up, and
Yeah.
fair enough. Right. What else do we want to cover?
No idea.
We could talk about W Series and how that's going to be interesting now with F1 Academy.
We kind of did talk about that. We went quite in depth with it, didn't we?
I don't know. I can't remember anymore.
Been a long year.
Yeah. Right. Then what else would we talk about?
Oh, no.
We haven't really got in depth on it, but
How are you meant to go in depth on
I
Phoenix?
don't know. It's a bunch of wank, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a Chris thing.
This-
You barely
Why
watched
do we
it.
do this?
Why do we do this when Chris isn't here? Oh wait, because Chris is a little. He just doesn't tell us when he's not going to be here.
Could only get to his phone just now.
Oh, I know, right?
Mm.
Let me guess. He's been playing chess all afternoon. Right. Yeah. Should we just wrap up?
Yeah.
Sick.
Christmas pun.
Huh?
Christmas pun. Wrap it up.
Too late to kick him out.
Unfortunately, yes, it's too late to find a replacement for him.
You can't even find a replacement for Alex, so good luck to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all right. As soon as my Twitch takes off, I'll leave you guys behind.
Yeah, pay for your
Yeah, I know you do. Right. So that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Turn
This has
5
got to be the
podcast.
worst episode we've ever done.
I don't know. There's a few contenders there. I think that's an award for next year.
I'm not sure.
Worst episode of the year.
What about that like less than 20-minute one you did, like the speed one?
Mate, that was a speed run. That was determined. That was short, concise content. That was great. Don't know what you're talking about. Why are you trying to say that's bad? That was
Yeah, we actually spoke
Top
about
tier.
stuff there
yeah.
instead of F2 feed a series that no one gives a fuck about.
We just didn't waffle. We just got straight to the point, talked about the point, and wrapped it up. And that was great. So yeah.
I think we need to adapt for next year to get rid of shit like this.
Probably. But what else are we going to do on these weeks? If we didn't have the feeder series wrap up, we'd have talked about Yost Capital and the awards ceremony. And we'd have been done. It would have been a 5-minute episode.
So be it.
Oh God. Right. This is the last episode before the Christmas break. We're taking at least 2 weeks off.
Well, it's probably going to be next year.
Yeah, so we will see you in the new year.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we're going to take 2 or 3 weeks off. It depends on what I'm working. So
Say
people,
it depends on Father Christmas.
bro, what the hell's Father Christmas got to do with the 2nd of January?
You should just gently whisper like, Father Christmas.
But yes, so we could be taking 3 weeks off. We're guaranteed we're taking 2 weeks off. So we will keep you updated somehow in due course. But until then, have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year.
Happy holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas.
Have a miserable time.
And
Don't enjoy life. Get drunk. Alcohol.
we'll see you in 2023. Goodbye.